We're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, episode 36. Holy shit, we made it this far. That's like 12 packs of weeks. Yeah, we're doing all right. So thank you for joining us. This show is presented by the Woolen Comedy Club, and I am your host, Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming. We are, of course, tonight joined by the infamous GW Foley and the one and only Collen Doyle, as well as our special guest tonight is Ryan Kenyon, which is going to be awesome. We get to catch up with him, see how his holidays were, what he's looking forward to at New Year's. And tonight we're going to talk about a few topics like quarantine Christmas, the first one that we've ever had. La 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 la. We're also going to talk maybe about the stimulus for a second. We're going to talk about our hopes and aspirations for 2021 because it can't possibly be worse than 2020. And now that I said that, I feel like I need to knock on wood. Hickory. And we're going to wrap the show up with talking about New Year's Eve. Anyways, kick the show right on the road, bringing first to our spotlight stage a very good friend of mine, a loyal co-host, welcoming Mr. Collen Doyle.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's great to be here, episode 36. Like Kyle said, 12 packs a weeks. That's quite the milestone we've made. I'm excited to see this year come to an end. 2020, I think most of us can agree, has been a total shit year. I try to everybody tries to make it seem like there's like some learning lesson to be had. There's like some. Maybe there's just a learning lesson, Maybe you just need to appreciate what you had more. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I appreciated everything I had before. It did take a global pandemic for me to be like, boy, employment's a great thing, isn't it? Have you heard of shelter? Apparently you need that in your life. I never realized that before. World COVID-19. I don't know what 2021 is going to bring. Seems like the vaccine is out, and whatever that means, maybe that'll help. I'm not like a big, previously vaccine guy, but I think if this helps with the problem, that's a good thing. I think that, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know what I mean? And I think that there's there's place for science and medicine and pharmaceuticals. And then there's also like holistic, approaches, herbal approaches and stuff. But I think we can all agree, like people go way too far into like the herbal stuff. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like bullshit. Like I'll give you a perfect example. It's like, you ever heard anybody talk about marijuana? Like he'll be like, so this is a sativa, and when you smoke it, it's gonna make you feel like very happy and creative and inspired, and like that's how you're gonna feel when you smoke this weed. It's like I have smoked every different type of weed, every combination of weed you could possibly imagine, and you know what I've always felt, no matter what it was, stoned. Like every single packet of weed out there could just have one thing on the back of it, be like, if you smoke this, you're gonna get high and you're probably gonna be stoned. It's like, this is gonna be a relaxing muscle relaxer, introverted high. It's like, I just feel stoned. I don't know. A lot of people like edibles. I'm not a really big edible person because they don't affect me. I've never really been affected by edibles. I could eat a whole tray of brownies and they wouldn't affect me. But I don't mean to make light of marijuana because it's not a funny thing. It can be dangerous. I remember I was high one time trying to make some popcorn. I took the popcorn out of the cellophane bag, put it in the microwave, hit potato, and walked away. Like 25 minutes later, I smell something burning. And I'm like, you know what I should do? I should go make some popcorn. Get out to the kitchen, and there's flames spewing from the microwave. I'm like, holy shit, someone decided to do it before me. It looks like the reckless bastard hit potato and walked away. Should call 911. Took my phone out, tried to call the police. Couldn't get a signal out. Then I realized I was just pressing numbers in the calculator app. Dare to keep a kid off drugs. Seems like we were dared more to do drugs than to not do drugs, wouldn't you say? I don't remember too many dares like, I dare you not to do that. And if they did, it never worked. But speaking of drugs, GW, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, man? I did some wrong crime. Now I'm doing the wrong time. Yeah, I don't know why this background was on my computer, but I saw it. I'm like, oh, hey, that works. That's perfect for me. Makes me look hard as fuck. Yes, because that's the word to describe me is hard. I am one hard motherfucker. Do not fuck with me. Actually, I'm quite soft. I'm a neutered kitty. Like, I just give me a ball of yarn and I'm just fucking bat it around. Like, I am not some alley cat anymore. like, I used to be, and that's the worst part about it is I used to be like a tough guy, and like got into fights and shit, and now I'm totally domesticated like a fucking dog. Like you just have to say my name and I'll come running over like, oh hey, you got a treat for me? It's not like a wolf like I used to be where I just fucking roar, king of the jungle or the forest, whatever, fuck lions. Unlike Collen, edibles totally work on me. Way too long. Like I was in Las Vegas and this was the last time I did edibles. It was it's legal there, so it's okay. I can talk about it. But I didn't know, and so I was decided to try it, and I was high for the entire day. I didn't know what to do with myself, so I just went to my hotel room and masturbated. Figured this would be like a good use of my time. See what happens. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm not going out to the fucking casino because that was all lights and noises and I would get too distracted. So yeah, jerked off in a hotel room, high on edibles. Good times. I know I'm gonna do the next, like, you know, like when people like ask you what you did when you go places and like, do you have any suggestions? Next time someone asks me about Las Vegas, that's what I'm gonna be like, here's what you need to do. You need to go get some edibles. You need to go to your room and jerk the fuck off. No porn, no lube. Just take one of the nice hand towels that they have in the bathroom, put it with warm water, and use that to catch your semen. That's kind of gross because the maids have to touch it afterwards, but they're not going to know. It's going to be dried by then. And it just gets bleached anyways. Little do I know that like some other lady got my hand towel and used that to wash her snatch and now has a little Billy bastard popping out. Some random strange in Wyoming has my child. She thinks it's an immaculate conception. Yeah. That'd be great. Another me in the world. That I think that's what we really need is another GW. Because one is definitely not enough. Like I could have my own little like mall Santas, like mall GWs, where like you come sit on my lap and you tell me what you want for Christmas, and I'll be like, can't do that, bud. I'm sorry. You can do it for like, instead of like Easter or Christmas, do it for St. Patrick's Day, because you know they need a holiday mascot. Leprechauns. Went out again in my sweatpants today. That I'm becoming a sweatpants guy. I got yelled at the other day because my sweatpants were too sweaty. They smelled bad, and I'm like, dude, that's the whole point of sweatpants, is that they smell. Like, I'm not gonna go and like impress anybody right now. That's why I'm wearing sweatpants. And apparently that's not an option in my house. So I was forced to throw my sweaty ass, dirty sweatpants in the hamper and take a shower, which is totally ruining the whole vibe I'm going for of like street bum. I like the dirty look on me. Like you just look at me right now and go, yeah, he definitely smells. He looks awful. But yeah, that's kind of been my week. Let me turn it over back to Hickory.
Thank you guys for being here. As I mentioned last week, I will not be performing tonight. I've had a long holiday season, and I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to all the retail workers and the people that have dealt with all the Christmas bullshit and haven't gotten any extra thanks from either their friends or from their colleagues or from their bosses or from our government, either local or federal. So thanks everybody to the people that can still make Christmas stuff happen. And we appreciate you out there. That's all really I got. I'm not well prepared other than for the discussion, so we'll move this right along. Welcoming to the show. Welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you on. I can't say enough good things about this man, and I'm glad that we are finishing the 2020 episodes of the Drunken Under Quarantine show with you, and I can't wait to see what happens with you and us in 2021. So please welcome to the spotlight stage, my friend, and I'm glad he's back, Mr. Ryan Kenyon.
Hello! Hey. Happy holidays, everybody. Oof. This is great. Good to be here. Hope everyone had a good holiday. Hope everyone got their dream Christmas gift, their PS5s or their KFC gaming consoles. You guys see that? The KFC gaming console? Like, what the fuck? Your chicken's gotta suck if you're like, fuck it, we're making video games now. God, what's Chick-fil-A gonna do? We gotta figure this all out. Speaking of edibles, I love edibles. I ate edibles last week. I ate 2 weed Buckeyes, and 20 minutes after the fact that I ate them, I thought I was going to have to call poison control, and they were powerful. I ended up higher than Chris Christie's blood pressure, singing in the bathroom 45 minutes. I went in there for nail clippers, and I ended up singing the whole Panic at the Disco album. But I just now saw a couple minutes ago that I don't know if this is true or not, and I believe we're going to be talking about this in a little bit. Trump, the Senate voted for the $2,000 stimulus checks. So if anyone out there has any ecstasy, like, I'm not going to do anything good with this stimulus money. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to the Lords above, whoever, made this money come out of nowhere. But send drugs to 2 Hanover Street, South Burlington. Man, what else happened this week? Oh, I needed to borrow my boss's car. to move a table over to my place, and he was very nice about it. And I mentioned earlier, my boss is Tom Sizemore's brother, and when he gave me the keys, he said, "Treat it like a lady." So I did like what Sizemore would do. I beat the hell out of the car. I came in it, and I haven't seen it since. So thank God the stimulus check was approved, because I'm probably going to be out of a job tomorrow. All right. But yeah, that's all I got. That was all. My week has been pretty tame. I had a good holiday.
Well, welcome to the show, sir. It's good to see you. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back here. Trying to get my phone set up here.
No, it's all right. It took me a second to switch over views because apparently I don't know how to do this anymore. Anyways, welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here.
GW, Colin, I hope you guys had a very merry holiday.
It was merry-tastic.
It was merry-tastic. Colin, was yours merry-tastic?
I was about as merry-tastic as you can get for a day that's 60 degrees in Vermont and raining.
That's the part that I loved about it. I was like, I can go outside with an umbrella and smoke a cigarette. This is great.
Hey, that's, if that doesn't say Christmas, I don't know what does.
Ho, ho, ho.
I actually heard this, and I don't know if it's true, but you fact check me on this, that Vermont and the Northeast were warmer than like everywhere else in the country for Christmas. And it kind of broke my heart to see all that beautiful white snow Christmas morning, and then yeah, it was gone by Christmas night.
I must be in the minority here because I was not sad. I was like, go fuckers, go. Like, I still have my all seasons on.
I'm just glad.
In Burlington, and Burlington was like 61 degrees. It was actually pretty beautiful to go out and walk in.
Yeah.
No, it was a decent Christmas for those who celebrate. Happy Hanukkah and other holidays to all those others.
Happy Toyota-thon.
Yes, happy Toyota-thon to the Toyota-thon Indians, or whatever denomination they declare themselves.
We're a Honda Days family.
But yeah, I just want to get a quick comment on the first quarantine Christmas for anybody out there. And I'm sure many people didn't follow quarantine guidelines. Many people did. But it's the first time anybody alive has experienced a quarantine Christmas. And I just wanted to ask you guys if you had a good one. It was really as honest and simple as that.
Oh, well, in that case, I had a terrible one. No one came over to my house to break quarantine. Like I had no visitors whatsoever. Everyone left me the fuck alone. Like I didn't even get phone calls. I got a text message being like, "Merry Christmas."
Yeah, Santa must have got COVID by the time he hit Middlebury. He didn't stop at my dad's house or anything, so kind of bummed about that.
Calling the Santa swing down there in Bridgewater.
Yeah, I mean, I think the chances of Santa having become infected by COVID-19 is 100%.
I know, all the cookies he touches all over the world.
How that old Saint Nick isn't riddled with COVID-19, and I think our first quarantine Christmas, I think we need to kind of take a closer look at some of the movies and books and songs and stuff like that. Maybe we should be writing some new music. Maybe we're writing new movies that are about a quarantine Christmas,
That's right.
Because I don't think everybody understands that when you're supposed to quarantine Christmas, it means if you have COVID, you're supposed to quarantine alone. It doesn't mean you're supposed to lock yourself in the house with everybody else with COVID.
I can't wait to see a Christmas rom-com where people can't kiss under the mistletoe.
Is Hallmark working on quarantine Christmas movies now? Because
I hope so.
I'm not going to jinx it for everybody, And chances are next year we're still going to have to go through quarantine. Like,
yeah, I would say that there's a very high possibility of that, my friend.
they're like not to piss on anyone's parade, but they're talking about even with a vaccine, it's still a year and a half. Of
I know.
So we're looking like the middle of 2022.
Well, you know, I think what would be great is like maybe we redo a Christmas Carol to try to communicate to the people at home how serious COVID is. And the three ghosts are just three different random people who knew that all died of COVID-19.
I knew it was you.
Like, not talk about the greed so much. Just maybe talk about like, I also died of COVID. And then the next guy comes out and he goes, I didn't think COVID was real until I died of COVID. And so on and so forth. I think that maybe that could be an interesting take on A Christmas Carol.
Tom Hanks plays all three ghosts.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait for the COVID Christmas songs in the future. Like I Saw Mommy, Social Distancing with Santa Claus. What else would there be? Oh, come. Oh, I don't even know. Just oh, come.
I like the idea though of the socially distanced rom-com where there's a couple figure skating out on Rockefeller Center, and then they get to the tree and they like stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
God, I wish I could embrace you. I really do.
I saw this girl. I know I love her. Did you get a chance to talk to her? No, I couldn't. I couldn't get close to her. Awful.
I like to think that the two on ice skates still have masks on and they kind of like air blow a kiss, but you can't really tell because they have masks on and everybody thinks it's adorable anyways. That's where we'll be by next Christmas, which is a great segue into the next line. Was that I have, like many people, I'm sure, have been watching some holiday and Christmas themed movies along my late November, early to mid December, and have stopped recently because I was pretty grinched out by the time the 20th rolled around. But watching holiday movies kind of gave me anxiety this year because I kept seeing all these stores just packed full of people with no masks on, and they were all shoulder to shoulder. And I just wanted to ask you guys if did holiday movies bring you enjoyment or anxiety this year? And if you watched them, I guess that would be the first question is A, did you watch any holiday movies? And two, did they produce any sort of anxiety? Ryan, we'll start with you, sir.
I didn't watch any movies this year, but they definitely do bring me some anxiety, especially Jingle All the Way. Because I know the stress of trying to find a toy for Christmas. It's hard, especially like I'm a last minute shopper. I'm a Christmas Eve shopper. Shout out to all the Christmas Eve shoppers out there.
What?
So they definitely do bring me anxiety. God, I'm trying to think of like other like Christmas movies that do. I mean, Gremlins for sure. I mean, that would suck if that really happened, huh?
That is true. The Gremlins happened during the Christmas. Did I not have that on
the first one? Yeah,
I didn't have that on the Christmas watch list. Oh, I guess it's another holiday night for the beautiful assistant. If you're watching, we're watching Gremlins. If you're watching Home Alone because you think that's a Christmas movie, Gremlins should be too. Colin, what about you? What do you feel about the holiday movies?
Well, I ended up actually seeing the newest version of The Grinch. Have you guys seen this?
The animated one?
It's like an animated, like a Pixar kind of like animated thing. Yeah. And to me, why do we have to just keep remaking shit? Just for the love of God, when the original cartoon, Dr. Seuss, sat in almost every day and made sure that it looked exactly the way it was supposed to look. The music, the story, it's a goddamn masterpiece. why do we need to try to remake this crap with some guy who doesn't sound like the Grinch? He doesn't look like the Grinch. What the hell are you doing? Who the hell is this guy? You're not Jim Carrey. Get the fuck off the screen.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And then, I did get a chance to watch some of Die Hard. Of course, who doesn't love Die Hard? Really puts you in the Christmas spirit. I love that Christmas scene when the guy says to him, "Don't be a cowboy," and he says, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
That's nothing says Christmas quite like that, But other Christmas favorites, I did watch Home Alone. I enjoy Home Alone. It was nice to see a ballistics report on the devastating effects of a paint can to the face. Turns out it was a paint can weighs about 11 pounds, would be swinging about 30 miles an hour to the face. It would completely shatter your whole face and probably crack your head wide open. So the wet bandits were always tougher than I realized.
Oh, they were some tough dudes. We rewatched those movies this year, and all I could think was like, this movie is like 3 coughs short of a snuff film. This kid is just murking those guys, man.
Yeah.
Like every single trap he laid. It was like, especially on the second one. The first one was, the paint can was bad enough, but by the time you get to the second one, it's like, oh, here's 2 paint cans and like a steel pipe. And like,
do you guys think that they were on PCP? I mean, they were called the Wet Bandits. And they could take so much pain.
Well, I had heard that the guy too, when the iron to the face stunt, I guess he actually got hit in the face with an iron on that one. But the other one that I loved was they tested the crowbar to the chest. If you smash someone with a crowbar when you're trying to hit the tarantula, and it turns out that shattered 4 ribs, punctured the lung and the heart. So I would say crowbar to the chest, probably not one you want to try at home, kids.
Yeah, that movie's brutal. But I agree with you, Colin. There's no replacing the Jim Carrey Grinch, and we should just stop trying. I think that's what Boris Karloff would have wanted. I pronounced that wrong. But that's what we all want, is just stop trying on the Grinch. Like, it's finished. Maybe perfect some older other Christmas movies. I would like to see a Rudolph that looks good, and maybe have some good like adult Rudolph scenes where he's coming into his teenage years, and like where he like sneaks out back.
We see how he
dumpster.
gets that red nose.
That's right. Like his first time lighting that pipe in the behind the dumpster, because like they never showed that part about the North Pole.
Yeah. What about show Rudolph's rock bottom? He's out behind the dumpster, free racing, singing that wonderful ballad, "Nobody Likes Me."
Yeah. More on the island of misfit toys and Herbie. I don't want to be an elf. I want to be a dentist. That guy. I want to see more about that guy.
Yes, these are the underexplored Christmas characters, and we could be taking our time to develop great movies and stories for, and meanwhile we're remaking movies that don't need to be remade.
No, I
know. I love how Ryan's just like, oh, you didn't know that I do the voice of every single character on the island of misfit toys?
I'm a polka dotted elephant, and I'm a squirt gun that shoots jelly, and I do them all.
Those two sounded remarkably similar.
It's the service. Well, I'm pretty sure it was the same voice actor. There was Burl Ives, and then whoever did Yukon Cornelius and Herbie the Elf. That was the only actors in the movie.
So there's 3 of them?
Yeah.
So Earl Ives was also the voice of Rudolph?
Yeah. She thinks I'm cute.
It was funny because I watched actually the original Frosty the Snowman. And it's funny that like the narrator of Frosty the Snowman, the cartoon, is just like the oldest school New Yorker that they could ever have found. They're like, Frosty the Snowman was walking one day. It's like, what part of the Bronx did they drag this guy from? Like, Frosty the Snowman. It's like, is this like, you know, that guy, like, what is his nickname? Like Fat Tony or something like that? Like, I want that Frosty gig. You hear?
I want him dead.
Nothing says children books quite like an old man from the Bronx. It's like,
I want you two of you guys to go down there and melt him. I want you to melt him.
That's what the fucker gets for fucking my wife.
Just melt him right where he stands. I just want 2 lumps of coal and a carrot sitting there on the ground.
Then I'm gonna take that carrot and bite it.
So transferring over from Christmas, the other news of the time is the stimulus bill, and that has been a rocky coaster that's been going since what, guys? When was the last one? Anybody remind me? Like April?
Yeah, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Was it April? Okay, so this is the speed that Congress is working at. And just a friendly reminder that you guys re-voted most of those people back in. So we're looking forward to more of this speed. But the turtle did win the race, guys. So there is hope. But it looks like a stimulus bill might go through soon. It was signed by the president and redlined with some demands, and it's been a rocky coaster. You guys have any hot takes on this whole thing?
So
I had a few that were that made me go, oh shit. T-dubs?
what are we finally getting? The $600 or like the complaint about $2,000?
That I don't know. Last I heard, it was they were working on the $2,000 thing right now. The last agreement was 600. Trump said no, and then he redlined a bunch of stuff and said, I will sign this bill if you do this. And but who knows?
I think right as the show started, I did get a notification that the House voted for the 2000.
Oh, okay.
yeah, well,
I
what
think it was quick, but I think that's what I saw.
I guess they ended up following kind of middle of the road with a settlement of 666.
Yeah.
And that's not even a joke. I heard them proposing that. They're like, how about 666? It's like, if they're not trying to blatantly say we are the evil empire from Star Wars, I don't know what else you're gonna do. To me, what I don't understand is like the way that they break down these like prices per person, like in the country. Like when you look at like 300 million people, like yeah, the difference between 600 and 2,000 is significant. But when you really think of it as on an individual basis of what you are able to get for $600, I mean, just looking, I heard one thing that was like, if you broke down from the last stimulus that we got to today, it equated to like roughly like 20 cents a day or something like that on average. So it's like the amount of money that people have received is so dismal through this whole thing. So many people have lost so much. And then you look at like, the average car payment probably in America is around $450, $500 a month. You look at the average, rental cost is north of $1,000 a month. You just don't have to look far. And it's like, what is $600? How is $600 affecting or changing anyone's life in America, regardless of how dire the situation is? You know what I mean? It's like hardly even a Band-Aid for anything. So like $2,000, to me is way more appropriate. And I feel like $2,000 is something that would actually help cover some bills and actually cover some costs for Americans. But I mean, less than $1,200 barely did it. And that was, half a year ago. And to the idea of going to half of what you got in the beginning of it, after all of this, with even stricter shutdowns right now, it's just really perplexing. So.
Ryan, any hot takes on this one before I get going?
No, go for it. It's kind of bullshit. I mean, they took this long to come to whatever agreement, whether it's 600 or 2,000. I mean, it's still not enough, and it's ridiculous. So that's all I got to say about it. I'm only going to spend it on drugs. I've got rent paid off, so send whatever. Send $15 off fucking DoorDash. I don't care.
I'd like to think everybody's just going to spend it on guns or drugs anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Lawyers, drugs, and money. Warren Zevon, you
What's the old saying? You get $2,000 and you say, yeah, I spent about $1,000 in cocaine and the other $500 in women, and the rest of the money I just pissed away, you know?
I want to know, how the fuck is Canada giving out monthly payments to, because they've been doing that since the quarantine started.
Yeah.
Like every
that's a very, very good question. There's a lot of good questions. My first question when I first saw the bill was 20% of that bill went to the American people and the other 80% went to corporations in foreign countries.
Mm-hmm.
Which made me say, like, so you're calling this a stimulus bill, but most of the money is going not to stimulate the American economy or the American people or even help people get by, that we're going to take that money and scoot it right to other people. I think there was like $500 million for Israel in that bill. There was $10 million for Pakistani gender studies. And I'm not even fucking joking.
Yeah.
You can look that
apparently you
up.
haven't done Pakistani gender studies because they happen to be very stimulating.
And I hate to hijack it, get all political, but literally 75% of the bill was foreign aid, which made me wonder why don't we have a system where normal people can understand what's going on in bills and politics? And I lost my train of thought, but maybe.
And second part, why are we giving all of that money to other countries and none of it is here?
The other part was that the proposed bill that Trump vetoed and is now signing with red lines is 5,600 pages. There's over 5,600 pages of text in this bill, which raises the question, which of your representatives read that? You know, like 5,600 page bill. And yeah, most of the money went elsewhere. So when we did the math, me and a friend of mine sat down and did the math, and if they gutted everything from the bill, they'd have enough money to give every citizen $3,000 while spending the same amount of money while not giving anything to anyone else other than the citizenry in the bill. But it's that much. It's $1,900 of that would be allotted elsewhere than the American people.
You know, I heard a really perplexing thing. They were talking about how much the wealth through quarantine has grown for, like, you know, the most affluent people in the world. And like the most affluent people in the world have seen a net increase of like $1.7 trillion through quarantine. And they said that Jeff Bezos had enough money. They were just throwing these different things of what he could do, like rid the world of hunger like 6 times over. But one of the ones was clean the world oceans several times over. And they actually have a dollar amount of what it would cost to clean all the world's oceans. Why haven't we done it? They're like, it's like for $3 billion, you could clean the world's oceans. It's like, why haven't we done it? like, why haven't we done it? Like, even with this whole thing of like the way that this is all like going on right now, this is the most grotesque misappropriation of spending that I've ever seen in my life. This is just belligerent spending. I mean, when you're talking about these people are spending trillions at a time, when they're just sitting down, they're just going, we're going to add 2 trillion to national deficit. You know, it's really staggering. And when you really start looking at the books, yeah, America has a lot of cash. And even at a $20 trillion or $30 trillion deficit, we still have hundreds of trillions of dollars in this country. and assets. But at a certain point, you do start to get over leveraged, and we are very quickly approaching a level that is we're extremely leveraged right now, and we're approaching even higher leverage, and the potential, a state of hyperinflation or the crash of the dollar, or, we have been very lucky to have the preferred global currency, and we shouldn't abuse it. And even with times it's like with this, it's almost too, if there is such thing as fiscal conservative or whatever, at a certain point, like just spending trillions of dollars at a time. Because when you write a pen, like a very good example was Mackenzie Scott, who's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, is trying to give away like this fortune. She's, I believe, the wealthiest woman in the world. And she started this year with a net worth of 25 billion. She started this year with a net worth with 25 billion. She tried to give $5 billion away. She ended the year with a net worth of $60 billion after giving $4.8 billion away. She said she's got a whole team of people she's employed. 9 million ended up at the Vermont Food Bank. She goes, I want to give this money away faster. They go, we can't, because we're giving away billions of dollars. There's only a certain rate in which, even if you're giving out $10 million in whack, 5 billion is given 500 organizations that, it becomes challenging. My point is that's $5 billion. These guys are talking about 600 billion, 800 billion, 2 trillion in one swift pen stroke. That there's going to be, $900 hammers being sold, So,
that's an old trope. That's good. Anybody else on stimulus before we move on to things that are non-political? But what could be political is, I wanted to ask you guys, it's been one hell of a 2020, and thank you guys for being here to get me through it. Ryan, thanks for being on the show a couple times.
Of course,
it's
thank
been
you.
Great to have you.
Of course, always fun.
And it's been a hell of a 2020 for everybody, for us, for the viewers, for all of our friends and families. And I just want to say, is there any hopes and aspirations you have for 2021, or are we going to be in the same shithole that we're in just season 2 for the Drunken Under Quarantine show? Does anybody have any hope left, or have you just been black pilled? Like there was a guy sitting on your chest feeding them to you. Like it was a gorilla, just like a foie gras duck, just black pilling the shit out of you.
I thought you were milking udders.
It could be either. There's lots of.
Just drink that milk, Sonny. Just drink that milk.
Oh my God. So I guess the question is, you guys still have hopes or aspirations, or is it doom and gloom for 2021?
I think 2021 is gonna suck dick. I think it's not just gonna
stays. I could just do this hand motion for every answer. I'll figure out a way.
Yeah. Like I honestly, everyone who's like, oh, hopes and dreams for 2021, no, you're gonna be doing the same shit you were doing this year, and you're gonna get used to it, and this is gonna just become lifestyle.
And G-Dubs is still gonna be in prison, or in front of a brick wall,
or life. Yeah. I don't even want to say it's gonna be season 2, because it's gonna be like the remix, where we're just better and badder and still in quarantine.
I think 2021 is going to be like the Grinch remake. Not necessary. A lot of things are going to happen that are not necessary.
It's going to be a really shitty 2020 reboot.
Yeah.
Like way before its time, but
yeah.
Is it going to be as bad as Ghostbusters 2016, you think?
Oh, well, I don't hate that movie. But I mean, we could have done without it.
Okay. Is COVID going to be better or worse than that in
Oh, I think it's gonna be like new Coke. There's gonna be new COVID, sugar free, no saccharin.
It won't give you cancer. Wink, wink.
No, it's the choice of a new generation.
We're gonna have the Pepsi of COVID. Like, there's gonna be a COVID competitor that comes on the market.
John Legend doing COVID cola commercials. You got the right one, baby.
Do you want a smoother COVID? Is your COVID too sharp and acidic?
Damn you, COVID 21.
Our COVID goes great with a burger.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you have hopes and aspirations for 2021?
I really don't. I'm just holding my breath and just taking it day by day. Honestly, what this year's taught me is that nothing can be expected. Buckle up and enjoy whatever ride you have.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And we're upon the New Year's. It's almost here. We got 3 more days before New Year's. We probably should have planned something special for New Year's with the show and the boys, but we didn't because I'm lazy. And we probably should have planned a live stream or something. That would have been fun. Because I'm not doing anything else because there's nothing else to do, right? Like, is anybody doing anything else for New Year's Eve?
I'm going the fuck to bed. I'm not partying. I'm not drinking. I'm not watching the fucking ball drop. I am too old for that shit.
Have you guys seen the memes of the ball drop meme that's going around right now?
No.
So it's the ball dropping and it gets 3, 2, 1, and then the purge sirens start.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's a great one. I really laughed pretty hard when I heard that one the other night. But yeah, so New Year's Eve, past Christmas, there's some New Year's Eve traditions, champagne, the ball drop, most importantly, New Year's Eve kisses. And I wanted to ask you guys for 2 different answers here, and we'll go around separately. The first one, what would be, there's 2 questions, I'll preload them. One would be the most appropriate New Year's Eve kiss to top off your 2020, as well as what would be your dream New Year's Eve kiss to top off 2020. This is assuming, that you're a single, unhindered man. Because I will answer at the end, but the beautiful assistant is the answer to both, just before we say anything. Anyways, G-Dubs, do you want to start off?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I want to say that the one that is besides my wife, who is the love of my life and everything that I hope for, and my one and only. I would say either Kat Dennings or Anna Kendrick would be a great New Year's Eve kiss. I'm sure she would be okay with me saying that.
That's fair.
I think the kiss that would actually encompass 2020 would be B. Arthur Now. Just a rotten corpse, loaded, smells of gefilte fish. And that would be my New Year's Eve kiss.
Colin, what do you think of there, sir? Your New Year's Eve kisses.
I think in a very traditional 2020 sort of moment, I would love to stand there with a very special someone who I haven't seen for a long time and maintain our distance of 6 feet while we both wear masks. And instead of a kiss, we just look deeply into each other's eyes as we bring in 2021. And as far as kissing anybody goes, I would be able, if I was to kiss someone this New Year's Eve, I would kiss my hall pass, who is AOC. And let me tell you, gentlemen, I think she's probably pretty much everyone's hall pass. It's pretty hard for any woman or true feminist to be upset that you've made out with AOC. Like, she's kind of gorgeous. I would have probably made out with her too.
Ryan, what are you thinking? What would be the appropriate? And
Well, until I get the damn vaccine, I'm not kissing anyone. So I'll just be doing elbow bumps to everyone on New Year's Eve when the ball drops. But if I could kiss someone, I'm gonna kiss Anthony Fauci.
Ooh.
That'll so and so.
The question is, would he be the appropriate kiss or the fantasy kiss, Ryan?
Oh, both.
Okay. A twofer. We got a
twofer. He's in the bedroom right now. Mask off, like Future.
Is it like down around his chin while he's eating a hot dog? Or?
His ears look like they're just like Dumboed.
Oh, Mr. Fauci. I would say the most appropriate kiss that I could give for 2020 would be Mick Foley, who was also Cactus Jack and WWF, because it would be rough and we would be in the middle of a broken table surrounded by barbed wire, and that would be an appropriate kiss for 2020. And my dream kiss for 2020 would be, I guess, Mick Foley too. Because I would love to give the guy a pat on the ass and thank him for all he did for my childhood. Because
that's right.
That guy going through a lot of tables and getting hit with a lot of chairs meant a lot to my heart, and shaped me as a person that I grew up to be.
Out of everything Mick Foley has done, I think the worst thing that has ever happened to him was meeting Ryan and I.
I know. He's so bad out of shape.
For all the thumbtacks he's pulled out of his back,
he's like, these two fuckers. Like,
oh man.
Yeah, he really did not want to meet us.
No, he was like, we were like the headbangers or something. We were
like, me asking for his fucking autograph so I can get it tattooed on. You should have seen the look on his face. He was just like, "You're gonna what?" I'm like, "Get your autograph tattooed on my body." Why? Because I thought it was cool.
That's good. So looking back, we'll get another little Uncharted question I had for you guys. Is looking back on 2020, the long, hard, shitty year that's been. We had a pretty good January and February, and then it seemed like March 13th, there was a executive order declared state of emergency, and things went south from there. As of March 14th, 15th, you couldn't find a roll of toilet paper anywhere. You couldn't find paper towels. You couldn't find rice. You couldn't get dried beans. Things slowly started coming back by April and May and June. July, things were, for the most part, replenished, and people didn't notice other than there were riots in the streets. And we had over 100 days of rioting in Portland, along with numerous autonomous zones set up. And we quickly forgot about that because we moved right into August and September, where election season heated up, and all of a sudden it was just news about Trump and Biden all the time, even though nobody had anything positive to say about either of them. And then we mowed right through that. Now we're dealing with the fallout of the election and moving into the next season of multiple coronavirus strains. And I just want to look back on 2020 with you gentlemen and ask you, if you had to pick a favorite highlight, if you had to take one little clip with you that you would put in a highlight reel of your life where you were like, okay, so this was this year, and this was this year, and this was this year, what took, what little image could you take with you and be like, that was 2020? And anybody can go. This is open.
I would be during the toilet paper shortage, finding a package of toilet paper. That would be my like clip that shit out and be like, yeah, found me some teepee from my butthole.
Oh man, so many. Definitely doing mushrooms on the beach in Burlington. That was pretty beautiful. This summer, that was amazing. No one was social distancing. I was higher than a kite. Lived to tell about it. It was a fun time.
Nolan, what would your snippet be, my friend?
Well, I was thinking about that because I feel like every year you kind of have those things that you look back, and it's the moments that like really, define that year or make you think about that year. I would say this show has been one of the things that have come out of the year. Not a specific moment, but something that's come out of this that's been a wonderful thing. And 36 weeks going. I enjoyed this year finally getting a chance to actually spend some time at my family's camp that we've spent a few years building, and this was the first year that I spent the night there and spent a little time there, so that was nice. And in June, I was able to sneak down to Rhode Island and spend a couple days on the beach and spend a little time in New York and went jet skiing around the city for my birthday. And that whole, although it was short, ended up being a very sweet kind of moment of summer, So I feel like with this year, it's been a lot of like dead air and just a lot of, kind of like Groundhog Day, where, the kind of the weeks have become months and the months now have just become the year. But I would say the quarantine, the phone-a-thon that we did early on was a lot of fun. And there's been a lot of victories along the way. I tend to be a belligerent optimist, so I'm optimistic that 2021 is going to be better than this year. How much so, we shall see. But I do think that we're on the rise, and I think that we're coming out the other side of this thing. And I think that the more that the advancements with the vaccine, the more that we continue to do the things that we've done in the past that worked. Hopefully this year we're able to get a little bit back to normal. So, but none of us have a crystal ball, right?
That's right.
Well, I do, but it's covered in sack skin, so my balls black when I walk.
I would say if I could take a little there's a bunch of them. There's way too many ironic and fun and stupid memories from 2020. If 5 words could sum up 2020, fiery but mostly peaceful protests would be one that I would put on my list, just because that's a quote that you can't. And the other one that Colin thought was really funny was leftist mobs. That was kind of funny. There's been a lot of fun phrases and catchphrases that have summed up 2020. But if I saw a silver lining, it would be that I didn't feel the pressure to go out, that there was zero social pressure this year. And that was silver lining that I think a lot of people realized that they actually really liked, and drove a lot of people like us crazy because we can't go out and perform and make people laugh and have that release. But for some people, it was kind of nice not to have their friends from work bugging them to go out and socialize, which would be me if I didn't like to perform. So that would be my silver lining. And other than that, all I would have to ask is, do you guys have anything to say before we go?
No. Fuck 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck 2020. 2020 sucks.
High
Yeah.
key fuck 2020. Hopefully we don't get copyright strike because I'm like auto tune. It's the magic in me. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that you know, it's good to see putting this chapter behind us, and I'm happy that despite everything, we've weathered the storm. You know, the Woolen Mill, we will be back up and going as soon as it's safe and
We will.
adheres to the state guidelines. So there's a lot to be grateful for that, because not everyone is coming out the other side, you know, still having brick and mortar. So we're looking forward to that, and you know, and everyone just keep being safe, keep doing your part, because I really do think that the more that all of us do our part, the collectively, the sooner we get through this, and the better off we'll all be. So
I agree. With that said, I don't have a lot to say other than a quick round of plugs. We're almost out of time. G-Dubs.
Foley Kills, Twitter, Instagram, Parlor. I also found out I have Foley Kills with a Z on Facebook.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to know who the dick that took the S was. But yeah, you can find me there.
Colin.
Instagram, Collen D, Facebook, Woolen Mill Comedy Club, and see you guys here next week.
Forward to it. And Mr. Kenyon, where can we find you online with that?
Happy New Year to all. Always good to be here. You follow me on Ryan Kenyon on Instagram and Transcendental Comedy
Nice.
on Instagram and YouTube.
Excellent. I am Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. You can find me at HickoryTDAU on Instagram, Parlor, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I don't know, something else probably. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's been fun. I hope everybody had a very, very Merry Christmas this past week. I hope everybody has a safe New Year, which shouldn't be hard because no bars are open. So DUIs are going to be weighed down. So keep an eye out because we got to make that ticket money up somewhere. So don't illegally park or anything because they're going to be out in force. That's going to be a serious drain on the state police budget. Those poor guys, I didn't even think about it. Anyways, that's all we got for this week. We'll be back next week for episode 37. We have a good friend of mine growing up from my childhood and a guy that Colin knows, Chris Hayes, on the show. That should be pretty good. We'll catch up with him and see how COVID's been treating him. And yeah, we'll see you next week for episode 37. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Oh yeah, the tagline. I'm an awful host. Remember, people, stay drunk, stay safe, stay underwhelming, but most importantly, stay fucking sane.
And for the YouTube audience, here's your special premiere episode of
I don't really have a song worked out for it, but
yeah.
that's for YouTube video only audience right now because we're still recording.
We love you, YouTube.
Thanks everybody followed here. We'll crack a fresh beer for YouTube and say thanks for joining us. Mom, I love you. Thank you for a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you, Hickory's mom, for a wonderful Christmas.
Yes. Yeah, the entire crew appreciates you, Mom. Anyways, thank you. Love you guys. Stay safe.